What's going on, guys? What's going on, Ty Squad? What's going on, everybody? So the Mike Tyson fight and the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight was amazing to watch. This fight did go into 8 rounds. This fight did go into 8 rounds, like I thought it would. I thought it would go. I thought they were going to box in 10 rounds, but they boxed in 8 rounds. All of the fights were amazing leading up to this boxing fight. I mean, all of these fights were amazing leading up to this fight against Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Like Jake Paul won this fight. Jake Paul won this fight. And I think Jake Paul really wanted this fight. And I think Mike Tyson wanted to win this fight too, because Mike Tyson came in with a 51, a 50 and a 50, and he won 50 fights and only lost 10. Mike Tyson won 50 fights and won 10 coming into this fight at 58 years old. And Jake Paul came into this fight 24-7 coming into this fight. And I could say this. Is that Mike Tyson is up there, in my opinion, with the greats, like George Foreman, like Muhammad Ali, like Joe Frazier. Because Mike Tyson is a really good boxer and a great boxer. And this was one of the best fights. And before this fight happened, we all saw before this fight happened, Mike Tyson slapped Jake Paul when this fight was announced. So this fight was amazing to see. Like I think Mike Tyson and Jake Paul will always have respect for one another. They will always have respect for one another because what they were able to do is put on a fight that was something special to do. And I think everybody will remember this fight. Everybody will. One of the best fights we have seen. This was one of the best fights that we have seen because you got both guys coming into this fight. You got both guys coming into this boxing match in this fight. Both of these guys were 31 years apart of age. 31 years apart of age. And Mike Tyson, for what he did, was amazing. To fight at 58 years old, or 50, how old he is, to fight and just like give Jake Paul all that he had. Like both of these, like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, this fight will go down as one of the greatest fights ever that we saw. Because we're probably not going to see a rematch like this. Not if Mike Tyson and Jake Paul says, let's do a rematch. If they decide to do a rematch, then we're probably going to get another Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. But overall, when you look at it from a standpoint, Mike Tyson, one of the greatest fighters in boxing, in my opinion, one of the greatest boxers in fighting, in my opinion, boxes at 58 years old against a 27-year-old or 27-year-old that has a 31 age difference coming into this fight. And we can say that coming into this fight, everybody didn't know how many rounds it would go. We didn't know how many rounds it would go. Like, it was a deciding vote on who would win this fight. And if if Mike Tyson won this fight, like, I think the final boxing score was 78-74. That why Jake Paul won the fight. We saw some great punches by both of them. Mike Tyson gave all that he could in this fight. We have to give Mike Tyson a lot of credit for being for coming in this boxing match in his 50s. We have to give Mike Tyson a lot of credit in this boxing match for boxing in his 58-year-old age. And he looked like he still got it. He looked like he still got it. Mike Tyson still got it, because if Mike Tyson did knock out Jake Paul, I'm just saying, if he did, we would say that this fight, that Mike Tyson, we would have there will be a different conversation saying Mike Tyson knocked Jake Paul out. But it was a deciding vote, a deciding vote. And I think I would like to see Jake Paul fight but Mike Tyson again. I don't think if they decide, like I said, if they decide to box again, it would be amazing to see. But we have to give credit where credit is due for all the boxing matches, because all the boxing matches leading up to this was amazing to watch. Like, if we could say that all the fights until all the fights that were, and I know I'm getting off track here, but all the fights off topic here, but all the fights that started before the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight was amazing to watch. And we have to give credit to the other fights that we saw before this fight. I think if Jake Paul did not, if Mike Tyson did not Jake Paul out, and it wasn't a deciding vote, people would be talking about bad, how bad Mike Tyson knocked out Jake Paul. And I'm going to say this again. I would put Mike Tyson in the conversation of the great boxers, of Muhammad Ali, of George Foreman, of Joe Frazier. Like, we have to put Mike Tyson in that conversation. Like, what Jake Paul was able to do is be able to get into it. I'm about to say this. What Jake Paul was able to do was get in the boxing ring with one of the greatest boxers ever. With one of the greatest boxers ever. And Mike Tyson, that's 58 years old. And Mike Tyson can still box. Mike Tyson showed me personally, and showed the entire world that Mike Tyson still got it. And I'm going to stick to that opinion because I think Mike Tyson still can box at the age that he is. Because we seen boxers like the great Muhammad Ali, like George Foreman, like George Foreman, come back and box, take a year off and come back and take a couple of years off and take fights off. Like people that watched Muhammad Ali could say that he took a year off. He took a year off or took a few years off and then came back to fight. People can say that George Foreman took took a couple years off and came back to fight. And Mike Tyson did not fight. Last time Mike Tyson fight was the last time he had a boxing match was in 2005. The last time Mike Tyson had a boxing match was in 2005. So with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson able to put on a fight like this is amazing to see. It's amazing to see. It's amazing to see. And fight Jake Paul, like we gotta give Jake Paul credit here. We gotta give Mike Tyson credit here because if Mike if Mike Tyson, like I said, Jake Paul did win this fight, but if it was the opposite and Jake Paul got knocked out, I'm just saying, from a standpoint here, it would be a different story and people would be talking about how how Mike Tyson knocked out Jake Paul. Like, people would talk about that. Because I really think this fight was good overall. All the fights were good overall. But this fight, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, I would like to see a rematch. Honestly, I would like to see a rematch of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Do I see that happening? I do not know. I do not know. But I would like to see a rematch between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul because what they were able to do is put on a performance in a great fight of 8 rounds. And we can say people could say that this fight was amazing or this fight was good or entertaining or this might have been the best fight ever of the year. This fight might go down as the best fight of the year. This boxing match might go down as the best fight of the year because because of one thing. Of one thing. It's that Jake Paul, even though he won the fight, I have to give a lot of credit to both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, but more than Mike Tyson, for coming out of retirement and boxing at the age of in his 50s, because we will probably not see another boxer or another fighter that is so great like Mike Tyson is. That is so great like Mike Tyson is. That is so great. We will not see another fighter come out of their 50s, of their 50s, of their 50s, and fight against a young boxer and John Paul. And Jake Paul. We will never see a young boxer. A older boxer in his 50s, like Mike Tyson, fight a younger boxer in Jake Paul. And coming into this fight, Mike Tyson was 50 and 50-11 or 50-11. He's 50-11 now after this Jake Paul fight. That's his record. But coming into and for Jake Paul coming into this fight, Jake Paul was 24-7. I would definitely like to see a rematch here. I would definitely like to see a rematch in this fight because a rematch of this fight. But I don't know if we're going to get a rematch. Like, this fight was amazing, and I would say this fight was the fight of the year. Like, you can say there were other boxing matches that were great this year. I think all the fights were great, but I think this fight overall, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, has to go down in history because what Jake Paul and Mike Tyson was able to do is something that we will probably not see ever again. But guys, sub if you're new and never give up your dreams. And I hope all of you guys are safe out there. And stay blessed, everybody. And peace.